Hello there, my mate Vince here, and in this video today I'm going to be attempting to fix items sent into my PO box. So, various different things that are all faulty. Will they work again? Well, let's get started straight away and find out. So to kick this video off, we're going to be looking at this Sony mini hi-fi system with a really bizarre fault. It keeps on ejecting the CDs, whether or not there's a disc in there. It will just, every time this is on, it will keep doing this all day long. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. You're going to say it's a design feature. It's ejecting Daniel O'Donnell on purpose. Well, what I would say to you is you and 99.99999% of the population are incorrect. Since Daniel's come into my life on this channel, my channel has thrived. So long may it continue. I was going to give this to my dad, but this has become a lucky charm for me now. It was sent over by Adam Russell, and it says, "Dear Vince, I've sent you this Sony Hi-Fi to see if you can sort out the bizarre problem it has. The CD drawer keeps opening and closing regardless of whether a CD is present or not. I've had a look at it myself, but I can't see anything wrong. I hope it makes for an interesting video. All the best, Adam." I think it will, because I'm trying to work out what it could be. Because check this out. This will work instantly. You know, when I press the eject button here, can you see? It will work all the time. Yeah? But yet when we don't do anything, it just keeps bringing it in and bringing it out. So I can't actually get in my head what that could possibly be. But I'm hoping by taking it apart, it might become obvious. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing the inside of this, because I just can't work out what could cause that. I think it's brilliant. Right, let's get over to the mat and see what's what. Right, okay, there's mains going straight into it, so I've got to be careful because there still might be charge in some of the big caps. I can see that Sony have put little arrows next to certain screws, so I'm going to undo all the ones with arrows next to them. Oh, okay, so those ones come off like that. And that uncovers more screws that will then take the top off here. Well, I've got to be careful because there's going to be some sort of ribbon cable coming up here, isn't there? Yes, there is. Right. So we have got connections on the board, so I just need to undo the connections here, these grey cables. There we go. Oh, well, I don't think I need to worry about anything up here, because there's no eject here anyway. Right, okay, now, so what have we got going on? What have we got going on? Looks complicated. CD goes in here. Why do you keep ejecting? There must be a micro switch somewhere that lets it know when it's in. So where are you? How do you know when you're in? Well, I'm going to take this off here just to see if there's anything underneath it. So this is the main power board coming in here, isn't it? So before we do anything, we should really check. Oh, it's going to be a linear. It's a linear power supply, so I don't actually have to worry. They're going to be low voltage caps, aren't they? Yeah, because that's on the low voltage side. I can't see what they are, but I don't think I need to worry. I will just measure them just in case. That's fine, not even 1 volt. 0.5 of a volt and 0.5 of a volt. So I think the rest is going to be just fine to work on. Right, I'm going to take a couple of pictures. By doing this, hopefully then, if something goes wrong, I'll know how to put it back to how it was. So I want to get down to the disk drive to see if I can find out where this micro switch is, because something has to let it know that the drawer's closed, and I think it's that's failed. So there's various things in my way, so I'm just going to keep undoing screws until I get down to the disk drive, and then hopefully I'll be able to take that out, and then we'll be able to find out what might be causing this problem. Right, okay, so you press that in there to take that out, and I'm going to have to do the same the other side, but I'm going to have to bend them back in again when it comes to putting this stuff back. Right, okay, there we go. Let's undo that. And let's undo this here. Right, we now have access to this here. Are you going to come out? Yes, you are. Right, let's undo it from here. Here we go. Right, let's put this part down. Whoa! Now that is a chip. Look at that. Would that be the audio amplifier? Look at the size of that thing there. That's absolutely huge. Isn't that nice to see? It's massive. That's a heatsink as well. Right now, what are you doing? So you keep on coming out. Why? Where are your micro switches? How do you come out? Ah, look here. Look at this here. Whoop! I wonder, has it been dropped? Right now, there is some kind of micro switch there, isn't it? This thing. Yeah, look, it hits that way. That needs to be down more, and it's not. It's been bent up. Why have you been bent up? Why won't you? Oh, there you go. Now you're back down. Yeah, you are back down now, look. And that is sturdy. Right, so when this opens up, it must knock over. It must do something with this little switch here. Yeah, I mean, it's wedged over that side now. But it was always over that side earlier when this was undone, wasn't it? Well, there you go. That's brilliant, isn't it? Just shows you your eyes are by far the best tool, followed closely by isopropyl alcohol. So I'm just going to pop this back together now, and I've got a feeling it's probably going to work because it fits in with the original fault that it was showing. There we go, look at that. It's spinning up. Did you see that? I don't think it did that before. Oh, and again. Okay, it's done some movement in there. Right, let's see if it will eject. Yes. Results. Okay, well, let's get Daniel and see if it starts spinning up. And also, I'll see whether it's going to come out by itself again. Just put that under here. I think we fixed it. Come on, spin up. Result, it didn't do that before. Okay, well, I'm not on CD on the top. I think it's probably fixed. Let's put it back together and actually see whether or not it's going to work. Because at the moment it says absolute at the front here. It doesn't say CD, but it's not ejecting constantly. So we fixed the original problem. But now let's see if it does actually work, because maybe this hasn't been working in years. Result. Okay, it appears to be working just fine. So if I go to iPod, you will hear Bob Dylan, copyright, and Daniel on the CD. So it's just wearing up. There it goes. And skipping the tracks. There we go. And now it ejects. And goes back in again. But doesn't keep on ejecting. So I think probably what happened is maybe it had a bit of a knock. Do you know what? Maybe it wasn't dropped. Maybe this was open and it got a knock, and it just dislodged that board on the inside there. So yeah, a nice little honest fix. So many thanks to Adam for sending that over to me, and let's move on with the next item. And before we move on to the next part of the video, let's talk about today's sponsor, which is, of course, PCBWay. PCBWay have over a decade experience in the PCB industry. They have state-of-the-art manufacturing facilities, and they use the latest technology to produce high-quality PCBs that meet your specification. At PCBWay, they have a range of services including PCB prototyping, PCB assembly, flexible PCBs, high-density PCBs, CNC machining, and 3D printing. And with the 3D printing, you can print in a variety of different materials, including, but certainly not limited to, resin, PEEK, and also titanium. So a massive thank you to PCBWay for sponsoring the My Mate Vince channel. If you would like to know more about them, then you can check out the links in the description down below. Now we're going to be looking at this yet again. It's beaten me once, will it beat me the second time? Let's find out. Right, now I've featured this in a video before about PO boxes, I think it was, and basically it's had very little use, and it does turn on and off with the remote control, but there's just nothing coming out of this at all. Now I did take it apart thinking it might be a loose ribbon cable or something straightforward, but everything in here is immaculate. But a comment did come through that I'll flash up on screen now that said that they had a similar thing and they tightened up the screws at the front here and then it started to work, and I thought, oh, that is interesting, because I do remember seeing screws on springs, so maybe it's not making a good enough connection against the chip. So let's turn it off and let's see whether or not tightening up the screws will make any difference whatsoever. So I'm just going to whiz through this now because it takes quite a while to get into it, to get all the circuit boards out, to get to this like DLP block inside. And look what just came into my PO box. I thought, what on earth is this? drydogs.co.uk, and I felt it and I thought, what? And I thought, dry dogs, what on earth? Anyway, check this out. I will never, ever, ever have to buy Q-tips again. Look at all of these in here. My word, there's enough to last me a lifetime. So, it was sent in by a guy called Mike, and he said, I was having a clear out of my shed and came across these that I bought at an auction years ago. Rather than throw them out, I thought you can make good use of them. Love the show. Keep up the good work. All the best, Mike. Yes, thank you, Mike. Do you know what? I know they're not expensive, but I use them sparingly. I use them if I have to clean up maybe a lens or something, but normally when I use IPA, I just use a bit of kitchen roll. So often when I buy something from eBay, some people wrap it in kitchen roll, and then what I do is I just harvest the kitchen roll from there, and then I mop up the sort of dirty IPA with this here. But yeah, it's nice to have a load of Q-tips, which is fantastic. So that will keep me in stock for years. Little key rings in here saying Dry Dogs. I've looked them up. Obviously, they've got their own business doing dog coats like that. Greyhound coats, Whippet coats. My brother's just recently got 3 dash hounds, little kind of sausage dogs. So I've looked in here and they do have them. I spelt it wrong to begin with. Now, where do I go? I'll go up here. DACHSHUND. I think that's it. Yeah, there you go. Dachshund Hunter Wax Dog. When I asked Alexa how to spell that, it was Dachshund, but I thought it was Dashhound. I'm sure it's Dashhound. Anyway, there we go. Thank you, Mike. So with the benefit of hindsight now, when I'm editing this back, I feel a bit of a fool, which is not the first time in my life, because I'm reading Adrian's message now, and I can now see this next part of the video is like, what? Because I'm like, wow, there's a spring missing. You know, I thought, amazing. But it clearly says on Adrian's message that a spring was missing from his one, and it said that he replaced the spring with the video projector turned on, and he applied pressure to each screw, and then at some point, boom, the lamp came on and everything was working normally. But when I was doing this video, I read that message a month previously along with a load of other messages, so it was just in the back of my head that he tightened up screws. So yeah, this next part of the video doesn't really make as much sense because you've already read the message in real time now, and then you can see me, but you need to remember that I read the message a month before when I got this projector out. Yes, I should have looked back and read the message at the time of me going onto the projector, but I didn't. It was like a month or so before. Right, let's see what's happening here. Oh, now, could it be that that wasn't making a contact against here? Let's see. Why have we not got a third screw, a spring? Do you know what I mean? Surely it should all be sprung. Maybe that's the problem. Was there a third spring on that? Let me just rewind the video. Because there should be, shouldn't they, for even pressure all round. Otherwise there's not pressure on one of them. Well, basically there was no third spring, so I got all excited. I looked in my box of springs, but I didn't have anything thin enough. But what I did is I just got a thicker spring and I kind of just bent round the end of it to make it thin at the end. As long as there's pressure between the screw and the plate, then it's going to put pressure on this kind of flexible ribbon cable against a DLP chip. I really thought that this had fixed it. Spoiler alert, it hadn't. But now that I've read back the message now, I can't let this go. So I'm going to take it apart now as of the 4th of the 11th, the 4th of November, and I'm going to apply pressure bit by bit evenly on the screws to see if something happens. I might even swap the springs around because maybe it's very sensitive to the amount of pressure it gets. It seems too much of a coincidence that Adrian's one had a missing spring, my one's got a missing spring, his one didn't light up, my one doesn't light up. When I say my one, it's not my one. You know what I mean. And yeah, so I'm thinking that there still might be hope for this projector, because at this point in the video, when I put it all back together and it wasn't working after the spring, I was absolutely gutted because I was sure it was working. And I've put so many hours into this projector because it deserves it. It's a very expensive piece of kit. So I'm going to stop editing right now. I'm going to take this apart again. I'll start filming when I couldn't see before how I could have the projector on and do this, but there must be a way that I can have the projector live when I'm doing this, and you never know, I might need to loosen the screws off or something to get a good connection. So I'm quite hopeful yet again. So yeah, this isn't the end for this projector. I'm going to give it another go now, and fingers crossed might be more successful now with the benefit of reading the message in my head. I understand it more now. Okay, so here we are again, and you can get to it just about. You have to take off this speaker here on the right hand side, obviously taking off the cover, and there's a little access thing here. You can get to the two bottom screws there and the top screw just through here. So what I've done is I've got it turned on. I've got to be careful that I don't short anything. I've slackened them off. Annoyingly, when I put pressure on the plate, because the plate is just in this part here. So can you see those fins in there? Yeah, that's where the plate is, and there's three screws. One screw there, one screw there, and another screw just at the top that you're not going to be able to see. When I put pressure with my screwdriver on the actual plate, it's not coming to life. So if it was just a case of needing a bit of a tighten, then I think, would it not come on when I put pressure on it? But anyway, I've slackened them off, so what I'm going to do is, I'll fast forward through it so it doesn't take hours. I'm just tightening them up half a go at a time. Half a turn at a time, and we'll see whether anything comes alive. And the brains of it's definitely working, because check this out. That one. Every now and then.
Switch to Bluetooth speaker mode.
Do you see what I mean? It speaks to me when I do different things here, and these are the volume. So yeah, it's all alive, it's just not displaying anything, because there's no lamp to display. I'd love to see this thing suddenly burst into life. I don't think I'm going to, because if it was just needing a tighten, then by me putting pressure down, I think that would be enough to make it spring to life. Okay, unfortunately, when you tighten them all, it makes no difference at all. So I've done it in stages, so I'm not putting uneven pressure or anything on. So just before I give up on this completely, I'm going to take it all apart one more time because I want to check out the pins, because I know beforehand there's this little plastic joining part and one of the pins was slightly out, but the pin's so small in relation to the pad it goes on, I wouldn't have thought it made any difference, but I would like to straighten it up. So then I know in my mind I've done everything I can do with that connection there. So next time you see this now, it's going to be apart and I can show you this little series of pins, but unfortunately tightening it in this instance didn't make any difference. Right, some of them are covered. Now, what's on this thing here? Oh, they're not all in use, are they? Those ones at the bottom are not in use. Yeah, they're not in use. So although the bottom pins are covered up, they're not doing anything anyway. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's have a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's nothing on the bottom, so it doesn't matter though those pins are covered up. I'm going to look at it under the microscope though, because this pin here doesn't look right. And I remember it didn't look right last time, but I think it's when I took it off. Right, so this is this little pin connector here, and they go through to this side. I mean, I suppose there's a chance there's no continuity from one side to another, but one of these pins is bent. Which one is it? There, that one there. So let's try to straighten that one up. I don't think it's going to make a difference though, because look, although it looks weird from the top, it's not weird from the side, is it? So I don't think there's a problem with that one. Unless, of course, there's an issue with it not going through to the other side. But I'm sure it would. This is super small, obviously. Try to bend it that way. Now I'm going to try to bend it down. Just noticed my tweezers have a big hook on them. Ah, see, look. I mean, there's a chance that that's missing because it's not in... I've got a feeling I'm going to end up breaking this now. You know, the prongs are a different level from all the others. So it needs to go that way. I need to bend them down. There we go. Right, that is more in line now, because they're not all perfect anyway. That's pretty good. Okay, so now I'm just going to put it all back together. I'm going to get rid of a lot of this thermal paste because it's quite clumped up. And in theory, if the thermal paste was very thick, it could end up sticking out more than the pins, so the pins won't make a connection. So I'll definitely put it all back together. Right, next time you see this now, we will be about to turn it on. Okay, so I've just put it roughly back together. There's still loads of things missing from it. But let's plug it in now and see if it will behave any differently. Come on, do something. No. Right, okay, well look. Maybe it's not supposed to be missing a spring there, and maybe this fault is different than Adrian's one. It just seems weird that it was the same fault. This is missing a spring, his was missing a spring. He tightened it up and it works. But yeah, I'm confident that that is making a connection in there, because I've cleaned it all. You know, when I put pressure down on here, I can't see how too much pressure would be a bad thing. Yeah, it's just, there's not even a glimmer of light sticking out there. So I am going to have to give up on this because it could be something completely different. Oh well, it was worth revisiting again because it's just set my mind at ease now. And I'm 100% sure that those pins are all okay in a right line and they're going to be pushed up against that. So yeah, my mind's made up. I will not be doing any more videos on this. Just a real shame.
Switch to Bluetooth speaker mode.
What a shame. Oh well, on with the next one. Sorry, Neil. I tried again, but I just can't get this to work. Right, next up we have a little power bank sent in by Toby. Toby also sent in a gaming headset, and you might remember previously I messed up his Oral-B toothbrush because I plugged it into my bench power supply before turning it on, sent a surge through, and obviously damaged some chip or something. Anyway, it says here, "Hi Vince, here is a power bank for you to try to fix in the video. It shows no sign of life even when plugged into charge. Left it plugged in for a while to see if anything happens, and nothing did happen. Keep up the good videos." I did plug it in, and it does appear to be charging once you leave it in for a while, but it's not holding on to its charge, so I think the battery inside it has just failed. Let me try to show you it plugged in. 1 second. Probably can't see. There you go. You can just see a flash in there. So it will charge up. It's just not holding on to it. So let's see if we can actually take it apart. We might not be able to take it apart, but if we can, then I wonder if we can change the... I presume inside there's going to be one of those 18650 batteries, and we might be able to spot weld in a new one. This is just going to be like so. Ah, look at that. You've got the America one there. Output 5 volt, 2.1 amps, 300 milliamp hours. So now, how do you come apart? Amazingly, it actually seems to be coming apart. What? I thought this would be glued and everything. No way. No way. Well, I was not expecting that at all. I thought that would be a nightmare to take apart. Okay. 2000 and it was that 15, 16? And it's glued on here. There we go. But I will just type in this code here, just in case it tells me what the battery is. Right, interestingly, I have found it online. Now remember, it says 2016 here. I've just realised there's a big 6 on here. And this is from 2017, so I suppose if it's been used a lot, maybe the battery now has reached the end of its life. It says here, secondlifestorage.com. And yeah, it's an LG battery. That's good, isn't it? And it's 3000 milliamp hours, which is what this one says here, isn't it? 3000 milliamp hours. I think if I just get one of my batteries from Fogstar, let me see what they are. I think they might be LG as well, or are they Panasonic? Samsung, I think they are. I think I might be okay putting one in, which is close to this. Well, I've had a look at my ones, and I've got these brand new ones here. These are Samsung INR 18650 30Q, and these are also 3000 milliamp hours. Now, I'm having a look at a data sheet. Problem is, it's also complicated because the thing is, they're not identical in like this one's talking about milliamp hours max discharge, and this one's talking about amps on the data sheet here, so it's slightly confusing if I'm honest with you, but they are they're slightly different as well. This is ICR and this is INR. I think INR is now safer than ICR. Let me just double check that. Another advantage of INR batteries is their safety. They have a safety chemistry compared to ICR batteries and are less likely to explode or catch fire. This is because they use a combination of nickel manganese and cobalt oxide in their cathode, which makes the battery more stable. So I'm going to put this one in here, but please don't ever copy what you see in my videos because they're a different chemistry to start with. And I don't necessarily know that it's going to be safe, but I would never sell it on. This would only ever be used by myself. Right, so what I have to do is get my spot welder and see, first of all, if I can prise off these little spot welds here, and then I have to keep these things as well. I've got to try to glue these things back on. I think it's going to work just fine because it does work, it just doesn't keep the charge. Do you know what, I'm going to do positive first. That's coming off really nice and easy. Wow, amazing. Very happy with that. Now there will be voltage in here, it's just not keeping onto it. See there, 2.6. But honestly, I did leave it plugged in for ages and it did get all the lights lit up, but then it just did not last. Right, so I'm going to be belt and braces, and I am going to put this onto here. Like so. That onto there, like so. And when I weld the bottom on, I'm going to glue that onto here. Right, let's get my spot welder. Here we go, spot welding time again. I've still got the same old spot welder. It's a bit on the weak side, but it'll be fine for this because the nickel plates are so thin. I did ask for viewers which one I should buy, but there wasn't one unanimous answer. Loads of recommendations come through of different ones, so I need to do some more research before I actually buy one. While I'm doing this, I'll give a shout out to the My Mate Vince Massive, and then we'll zoom in and get a few nice spot welds with the sparks going. The Massive members this month are kitdigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokatansky, Having Fun Repairs, Chris Seal, Felipe at MrKeeps.com, DJ VG, Pigsy, Robert from Timsy's Auto Air, Anthony Dean, Bazza2, Russ Melanson, Gaspar Heller, Rickard Bergland, Jacob Colpin, Soul Reaver 555, and Lucas Scott. Many thanks to each and every one of you. Now check this out close up. Who wouldn't enjoy that? Right, let's see if they're on. They are on. They are on. Right, now we've got to do this side. The reason you use this is because the heat's really localized. You know, it shouldn't heat up anything here, so it shouldn't be dangerous. And one for luck just for the camera. Let's get a nice one with a nice bit of smoke. Here and here. Come on. That was a good one. Oh, and a nice bit of smoke. Right, are you on? Yes, you are. Fantastic. Okay, so I want to put a little bit of this on here, so I'm going to add a little bit of glue. So I don't have to worry, this is negative, so I don't have to worry about this rubbing against here. It's the other side that you've got to be careful of. Right, so that tape's protecting the positive from shorting against the negative there, and we also have this little cardboardy type ring. Now I'm just going to add a little bit of Captain tape because there was some Captain tape around it, wasn't there, to begin with, or what looked like Captain tape. So I add Captain tape to both sides just to keep the wires in place and the little nickel plates, and then I add a big lump of glue on to the battery because really there's mains in here and it's very easy to take the cover off. I think the glue was being used on the battery as well to keep the cover in place so it doesn't unclip off. But anyway, it's glued back into place now and clip back on, and then I just need to give it a nice good charge and make sure it's working. I know it's going to work because it was already working, it's just a battery wasn't keeping a charge, and now we've got a battery that's new, so it should keep the charge. Plug this into here. Is it going to charge? Yes, it is. There we go. I fixed this in another episode. There you go, 92%. You can't really see because it's so bright. And now it's jumping up nice and high. Fantastic. Right, I'm going to plug this into charge and get some charge in it. And it's about a week later now as far as this is concerned. And basically, I fully charged it and I charged up this. It got to nearly halfway. Fully charged this again. Charged up this, and then it was nearly full. Charged it up one more time, and then it got full, and we still have quite a little bit of battery life in this. So you can see, oh, that's the light, sorry. Hold it down again, it will start flashing, and hold it down again. Will turn off, but look, if I tap that there, you can see we've got 3 out of 4 blue lights, and it makes sense because this, I presume, has got 2 batteries in, and also it is 6,700 milliamp hours, and remember we put 3,000 milliamp hours in here, so it makes sense. 1 battery in here, 2 batteries in here, and it is slightly over twice the capacity. This one's twice the capacity of that, so I'm confident now that this is fully working. Let's move on to another item. I said to myself I wasn't going to look at any more of these because I looked at quite a few near the beginning of my trying to fix journey, And I just, to be honest, get bored of changing out capacitors. But luckily on this one, the capacitors have already been changed. But I don't know if it's going to be fixable because a repair attempt has already been done on it and it seems to have quite a few issues. Anyway, when you turn it on, have a look down here. You can see that the screen does light up. But look, there's no power lights here. Now, I know I haven't got a game or anything on it at the moment. So a video has already been done by Sadiq from Angry Owl Tech. This is a QR code. So if I zoom in on that, you should be able to look at that on your phone or something if you're watching this on a TV or PC. And then once it stops wobbling, you should be able to actually go to his video from there. So it says, I've been a big viewer of your channel since the Mr. Telephone days. Big fan of yours. Thank you, Sadiq. I've sent you this Sega Game Gear for you to try to fix it video if you can. I've attempted to fix it, did a recap. It did sometimes turn on and works with low volume on the sound, 1 in 100 tries. Check out the video I made. I understand it is non-returnable, so it's yours. Have fun and keep the entertainment going. So thank you so much, Sadiq. And I have just watched his video, and basically, yes, he did change out the caps. But there was quite a bit of corrosion on the board already, and originally before he changed out the caps, it was doing this issue here where the light wouldn't come on, just give a little flick, and the screen would be like this. So it looks like in this instance a recap didn't work, but it did come to life for a short period of time, and I could see Sonic the Hedgehog game was actually running. I don't know if the buttons and stuff were working, but it was running. So it looks like he says, 1 in 100 times it will work. How bizarre is that? Let's take it apart, and first of all, let's just see if anything jumps out at me that maybe didn't jump out at Sadiq, in case it could, fingers crossed, you never know, be a simple fix. So did I notice anything? I most certainly did. I noticed that there was corrosion everywhere on this Sega Game Gear. Unfortunately, I think the old electrolyte must have been sat on the board for a long time from the old capacitors, and it's just eaten through so much. Before I noticed how much it was actually damaged, I did notice that there was a resistor missing. I soldered the proper resistor in, and I presume then that pathway was now intact, but it probably only went a few millimeters until it met a via, and then it was probably just eaten through there. With my multimeter, I noticed that there was loads of traces that weren't going to where they should be. So I'm going to show you that in this next part of the video because it's easier to show you rather than explain it. Right, massive apologies. I'm not going to take it any further. So sorry, Sadiq, I can't fix this one. In hindsight, it wasn't even worth recapping it because the corrosion was just so far gone. A recap was never going to make any difference because the signals are not getting to where they need to get to because the paths are all eaten through. So I'm going to show you an example of one right now. So if you look at this one here, this is a prime example. A trace here starts from a via here. It doesn't look too bad. This one looks bad, but this bit doesn't look too bad. You'd think that would be okay. I mean, it's much better than the other side of the board. But look, if I go here and here, nothing happens. But then when I move it back to here, we will have continuity. But then it goes from here, gone. And if I go to here, there's no continuity. Yeah. So then you think, okay, just Vince, run a wire from here to here to here, no bother. But what's then going to happen is they all need to be brought through to the other side because these vias, if they're not even getting to here, they're not going to get through to the other side of the board. Now, it's kind of hard to see exactly where they go, but that top one is somewhere up here. So basically, I'll have to run a wire from that side over to this side here. You could just run a wire from here to, I think it's here, and then from here to one of these here. Yeah, again, not such a big deal. But you're going to have to go either side because remember this fire's gone now. So like if you were to run it to here, that's fine. That will connect up the transistor. But then where does this side go to? Oh, it goes to this transistor. So then you'd have to run a wire from here to this transistor because the via's gone. Likewise with this one here, it doesn't just go from here, it will go in both directions. So you'd have to find where it goes here and then run a wire. But remember, that's not just it. It connects up one of these as well. So then if it's this one here, you'd have to connect it to this resistor here, and then you'd have to go see where it goes down, and it goes down, and then it goes to this one here. So you would then have to go over the other side of the board to see where it goes to, and then go to that point there. Or if that via's gone, go both ways again. So you can now see, just from that one little trace being gone there, you're going to end up with what? 6, 7, 8 wires or something like that. So now if you were to do that on every single broken one, you'll probably end up with 100 wires going around the place. And it's just not going to last. One little knock and it's going to start to break off, or when you're putting it back together, you're going to knock something. Unfortunately, this is just beyond economic repair. And it's not just economic repair, it's beyond even my mate Vince's YouTube repair. Too much time would need to be sunk into this. I know if I started now, I'd probably still be on it 24 hours later. So it does pain me to say, but sorry, Angry Owltech, thanks for sending that over. But yeah, there's just way too much work here. Even for a YouTube video, there's too much work. So spares might be able to be harvested from it for another Game Gear in the future. Let's move on to something else that hopefully, fingers crossed, will be fixable. Right, next up we have this Corsair headset here. Super comfortable on, but the microphone doesn't work. And it says here, "Hi, my mate Vince. I had these listed on eBay as 40, but nobody wanted them. Sad face. They work perfectly apart from the mic. No matter what I try, I cannot get anything to be picked up. I've opened it up and can't see any disconnected wires. They are tiny though. I know you will be able to fix it, so here they are. You have more faith in me than I do. Hope you can and want to make a video out of them. Enjoy, hopefully, Nick." Yes, hopefully I will. Now, these are super clean. They look perfect, but they are not working. Now, watch this. If I do the volume here, you can see they are connected here. They work absolutely fine, like Nick says, but the microphone doesn't work. Now, look, you can see at this moment in time, if I hit this button, there you go. Can you see it's flashing red now? So I presume that means mic off, and then that should mean mic on, but watch this. Testing, 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 testing. Nothing. Now, just in case there's something weird where flashing red in this instance means on. Testing, testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. Okay. And now, watch. If I go to play, can you hear anything here? There's nothing there at all. And if I unplug it and play again, you should be able to hear it coming through here now, but you can't. Because there's nothing there, because the microphone is not working. So let's take them apart and see if we can get these fixed. Ah, there we go. You just pull them off like so. I did actually struggle to get these apart. I didn't realise that the cushions just lift out like that. Anyway, there's a load of screws underneath. I also have to just stick back on one of the outer cover bits. I thought there might be hidden screws somewhere. And then that will give us access to the inside. This is more like it now. And we have a white wire going down here to the microphones. And there's a load of hot glue here. Oh, there we go, mic. Okay, so white one's the mic. Is that intact? Looks like it is. D ground, A ground, and MLD. I don't know what any of that means. But two of them have to be linked to the LED, do they not? Now, what I don't know is, when you go across the mic, what should it actually test? So let's get our multimeter out and go between mic and A ground and D ground and see what happens. I presume we'll get a little ohm reading from the microphone, so let's see if we do. On continuity now. In the mega ohms. Right, let's go between mic and D ground. No, it's nothing between mic and D ground. I wonder the LEDs. How do we get the LEDs to work? Let's go on to diode test. Let's see if the LEDs light up if I go here and here. Yes, they do. Can you see that ever so slightly? Now, hopefully you'll see it. There you go. Yeah. Right, so we don't have to worry about that. So I presume then, if we go between the two grounds, we're going to have a full short, aren't we? Yes, we are. So we haven't got any reading between there and there. We have it as in the mega ohms. I think that's the problem. So now, let's see if we can dismantle this. I think it might actually be a mic problem rather than or a problem with the wires. So what I want to do now is remove the microphone arm to make it easier to work on. So I'm going to unsolder the 4 wires. There's a couple of screws holding on the microphone arm to the actual headset, and then that allows the arm to come away completely. Annoyingly, it's all molded, and it's more than just molded. The arm itself is like flexible, meaning you can bend it into position and then it will stay in that position. So imagine like a pipe cleaner that you bend and it will stay bent. It's similar with this thing here. So basically it's not fixable. You have to get a new arm. I've had a quick look online, only a couple of minutes, and I couldn't find anything obvious on eBay. But if you had another headset that had some like broken, I don't know, headband or something, then it would be easy to remove the arm, the microphone arm from it, and then solder it into this one here. But this is a fix-it video, so I want to actually try to see if I can find where the fault is and whether it's possible that we can do some sort of bodge to get it working again. So because it's all moulded, there's no screws to undo anything, but what I do is I get Marcel's vice up and then I start crushing the actual microphone part, because if I can get into there, it might end up being a microphone problem rather than a cable problem. If it's a microphone problem and I can get into it, then it can actually be repaired because I can glue the end bit shut again. If the problem's on the cable, well, it's not going to be fixable because you've got all moulded rubber everywhere. But saying that, I will still give it a go. So let's pick up the video now, just as I'm about to test the actual microphone. Because I presume they're working as, in a way, kind of similar to a speaker. I think we should have there should be some coil or something, shouldn't there? Yes, there is. There you go, 1.4 thousand ohms, and yet we're not getting that here. So now we know 100% that the fault is in the wires. And I just tried to prove that further with my multimeter, and annoyingly the fault is on the braid of the microphone, so the negative of the microphone. And I can show you that I definitely know 100% it's in the cable, because every time I wiggle it, it makes the contact. So check out this next bit. Watch this. If I go on here, and here, listen. So it looks like it's somewhere around here. I'm not sure if anything can be done about that. I was wondering if it's possible that I could use the ground off the LED, but I suppose it would cause some weird kind of hum. The only other option is if I was to unsolder everything here and try to loosen it up, whether there be a way I could pull the wire through. It just doesn't look like there's any slack at all. So I've got a feeling it's probably been moulded around the wire rather than the wire pushed in after it was made. What a shame that had to go in the length, but I suppose it's the most obvious place because that's where it's been grabbed. It's probably gone here. Yeah, that's exactly where they're gone. It's always the way where you have a hard part meeting a flexible part. That's always where they go. So this isn't fixable. You can't move that wire through. It's all been moulded in with the rubber at the time of manufacture. So what I have to do is I have to cut into the rubber in order to find the break, which I do, and then I run a new wire from the break right the way to the microphone. So they are going to work, but obviously it looks disgusting now because I've cut the rubber arm all open. To get the wire to get to the microphone, I do have to make a little burn through the LED, but not the LED itself, the little tube, the light tube, you know, so it glows up red all the way around. But you're only going to notice that if you're looking very, very closely. I can't kind of pass the wire through it because it's all, well, I can't. There's not enough room. It's all kind of moulded together. So the big brain moment happens when initially I put a load of hot glue in it, but what I use is I use black hot glue, not clear hot stick, but the black stuff. So it already makes it look much better because it's black rather than clear. But then it's still obvious that the rubber's been cut open, and the big brain moment arrived when I used a heat shrink, and it finished it off really, really nicely. If I had longer heat shrinks, I'm thinking it probably would have been better to put a heat shrink along the whole arm, and then you know what? It wouldn't look too bad at all. I've done it halfway so it is noticeable because my heat shrinks weren't that long, but it still looks pretty good. So let me just show you it now where the arm has been all put back together. We can test it for ohms reading, and then I'll show you it, fingers crossed, working at the end. Right, okay, there it is. It looks a bit sorry for itself, but you know what? I think it's quite strong. Yeah, it doesn't look like it wants to pull apart. So yeah, let's test it now. Well, first of all, let's test on diode test to see if the lights light up, and then we can test for the actual microphone. Not that side. Yeah, I can see it. Fantastic, I can just barely see it lighting up. I'll show it to you when it's all back together anyway. Right, and ohms here, come on now. Fantastic, look at that, 1.2 k ohms, 1200 ohms. Result, I think it is going to work. I mean, it might sound awful, but there's definitely a continuity there. Well, I'm going to solder this all back together, and then I'll show it to you at the very end. Ah, nice clean mat again. Right, okay. So I've got the lights going on here. If I hit this button here, you can see that we have a red light here to indicate mute, and take it off and it disappears. I can also hear it beeping. Right, here we go. Testing, 1, 2, 3. In fact, let me wear them. Testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to hit the mute button now, and I can hear it go beep. I can see the red light here, so it shouldn't be recording me. Take it off mute, and it should be working again. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Right, let's see now if that's going to come out. So I've got to take this. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me just listen to make sure both earphones are working. Yeah, lovely. Right, that's perfect. Now these speakers are super quiet, but hopefully you'll hear something. Testing, 1, 2, 3. In fact, let me wear them. Testing, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to hit the mute button now. Take it off mute, and it should be working again. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Well, that sounds nice and clear. So do you know what? I'm thoroughly happy with that one because I thought it was a really interesting fix. Fault finding the break in the wire. It's always, isn't it, at the end of the strain relief, or when something goes from being solid to the flexible part. That's always where it goes. So yeah, not really fixable, but yes, they are fixable. If they're your own and you love them, then at least you know you're going to get quite a few, hopefully, weeks, months, or possibly even years out of that. I think that will be a lasting fix because I did run a new wire from there right the way to there. Obviously, it's not as good as it was originally, and it doesn't look as good as it was originally, but it is functional again. So a massive thanks to Nick for that. I thoroughly enjoyed that, and these are super comfortable. I think I might actually make use of these myself. And now I've gone to the yellow mat. It's been a while since it's out. I like to mix things up a bit, and also it's a bit gloomy here in the UK today, so this is my little ray of sunshine. So next up we have an SD card reader sent in by Damien, and he says he's a huge fan of the channel. He's 32, he's autistic, and he's made a habit of putting things in his mouth, and basically this SD card reader is no longer reading. He sent this last Christmas, but it's nearly Christmas again, so Merry Christmas to you too, Damien. So this is one of these ones here that do micro SD to SD. So I presume it's either going to be bent pins on the inside, or in fact they do look bent. They do look bent in there. This is going to be molded. I don't think this is going to be fixable, but let me just zoom in and have a look. Yeah, those pins look all over the place. Let me get a working one and see what that looks like. Oh, right, okay, the pins are all across there, going that way. Yeah, so, no, these are bent up everywhere. Right, let's zoom out. I don't think there's going to be a way to open this up without breaking it. Also, they're not expensive devices, so nobody really would be attempting to fix them, but I'd be quite curious just to see what the inside of it looks like. And here we go. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's add a little bit of heat to it, and I'll just add 100 degrees Celsius, and I'll just try to ease it up. Here we go. Oh, it's not too bad at all. So we just need to bend. Which one do we need to bend now? So these are all individual and they just stick up here, here. So they're all okay. That's all right. That's all right. That's a little bit bent. Now I think this would be a bit risky to put back into use again, but let's just see. I'll put an SD card in that I don't care too much about it. Just see if we can get anything out of it. So I just need to bend them back into place using the tweezers. It's fiddly because of the size of them. I also do a continuity test when I've done that between the pins on the inside and the pins at the back. And what's curious to me is, why is there 8 pins inside but 9 pins at the back? Really, really odd. One of the middle pins doesn't appear to do anything. So a micro SD card has 8 pins, yet an SD card has 9 pins, and that's a little bit confusing to me because you think they would mirror each other. Anyway, I get them aligned back up again, and then I use some super glue. Obviously the case is all bent all over the place, but this is where the vise comes back in handy again, because I can use the vise to clamp it shut, leave it for 10 minutes or so, and then what we'll do is we'll just try it just to see, out of curiosity, if it does work. Right, here we go. It's been about 10 minutes or so. Are you even going to fit? Oh, a little bit tight. Very tight. Oh no, there we go. Okay, from a slightly different angle it goes in. Now I'm using this and this because I don't care as much about this as my proper PC. And also I've just got an SD card in for my microscope. And it threw a wobbly on me the other day and wiped everything anyway. Such is life. So yeah, I'm not bothered if it all fails. That sounds good. Oh no, it's going to do that because of that anyway, isn't it? Let's see if there should be one video on here. Oh my word, it's picked it up. It's picked it up. It's going to show my microscope base and then my finger will move under it. Yes! Unbelievable. Well, it's not really unbelievable, but I wasn't actually expecting that to work. Results! There we go. Well, it is fixable. Now, let's finish up the video. So out of 6 items, 4 of them are fixable. The Game Gear probably could be fixable if you were to invest a huge amount of time in it. But even out of the fixed items, really this is the only one here that you would be confident moving on, because you've seen what the problem was and it was nice and straightforward. This here does appear to be working just fine, but whenever it comes to 18650 batteries, I'm always a little bit wary. Something like this, fine for home use. Again, wouldn't be able to sell it. And this was just basically to mess around with for the video itself. But still, I hope you got enjoyment out of it. Even something like this here, for me, it was still interesting to see why there's 8 pins on the inside, yet 9 pins on the outside. So that there will be a good one for Google or even the comment section down below. And if I'm curious about it, other people will be as well. So a massive thanks to everybody that has sent things into the PO box. Even if it was sent in years ago, it doesn't mean that I've forgotten about it or it's been lost. Sometimes it just takes me a long time to get through different items. If you enjoyed this, give it a massive thumbs up. Hopefully there'll be more PO box videos in the future. Take care everyone.